2, 1. And live. Coach, I'm so happy to talk with you. First, because I practice tennis every day. So you are a sort of, I see you every day. So I just finished to watch your video about success, for instance. But I watch all of your videos and I try to improve. And second, I'm so passionate about, Web3 NFT. So you are my perfect combo. Where are you, by the way?
I'm in Brazil. I'm in São Paulo.
Okay.
I'm playing with tennis fans. I love to connect with them. So we're spending time together on a tennis court. And actually, that's exactly what we're going to do through this NFT project. But that's where I am at the moment.
But how often, how much time do you spend at your academy, and how much time you travel around the world, also following players? What's your usual schedule?
Well, my academy is in Nice, in the south of France, and that's where I live. I have moved to follow my academy because every time I'm at home, I spend all my time in my tennis academy. And then I'm traveling a little bit. So I used to travel a lot with Serena on tour for the last 10 years. Lately, she's not playing much, so I'm traveling less. And as I have a bit more time, I'm happy to go join some fans in countries. So I went to Miami, and at the moment I'm in Brazil to see fans.
Got it. Fantastic. So I'll be waiting for you here in Brighton in United Kingdom, where, Patrick, I discovered, I'm Italian originally, as you guessed by my British accent, but in Italy, you never play outdoor during the winter. I mean, if you play outside, it's all, there is a bubble covering, a nice heated, temperature. Here, it always rain, super windy, and you still play. So when I, at the beginning, say, guys, but it's raining, they say, well, so what? I say, yeah, but how do you play? You still play with rain, with snow, with wind, so every kind of situation.
I'm sure. I mean, if you don't play when it rains in England, you're not going to play much, right? Yeah. but if I go to your point, the thing is, it's surprising. In some countries, people are completely okay to play outside in the middle of the winter. And actually, I'm originally from Paris. And I think that Paris weather is quite close to British weather. Yeah. And I never had indoors. When I was a child until maybe 20 years old, I was playing full winter outdoors. And it was cold, but it's okay. Once you start to run, you get used to it. And the rain, you have to learn to be light on your feet.
You know what? I discovered also all my problem with my mindset, because I was a professional table tennis player for many years when I was a kid. And table tennis is an indoor sport. So I'm really struggling to adopt a different outdoor mentality. So I always complain, but it's the wind, it's the rain, because for me, this is a force and then I play with a friend who is a very good open sea swimmer. And for him, it's just easy, cool. It's a little bit breezy, it's a different approach, but it's the taking responsibility, Yeah,
sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to say that it's a good point. And that's why I wanted to move to Nice, my tennis academy, because I think it's very important to learn from an early age to play outdoors. Because as you mentioned, tennis is an outdoor sport. And if you play indoors or outdoors, it's a completely different sport. So when you get used to dealing with the sun, the rain, the wind from an early age, it's very natural for you and you're good with that. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult in the future to adapt to those conditions when you didn't learn that from a very early age.
Yeah. And you always complain like I do, Patrick. But I read your newsletter where you suggest how to play with the wind. So I suggest to everyone to subscribe to your newsletter. And I remember when I started to watch your videos, I thought, wow, that's exactly how you should do it. In general, if you teach a sport, the way you and your team use reels, shorts, long conversations, they record you on when you're teaching, I think is also the perfect way to produce videos, because of course sometimes you stay and you talk to the camera, but often material comes from you doing your job and someone is just documenting what you do. And I think it's excellent. It's really a masterpiece in social media. So congrats to your team. Really good.
Thank you very much. And it's not about time, because as you just mentioned, they're just following me doing my job. They're just filming me on the court with people. And when we think, oh, this was interesting, people would like to hear that It can be useful also for other people. We just share it on the social medias, and apparently people really like it. I think, and it's really fun because I meet people around the world, and they all feel I'm their coach because they watch my video, and they feel like I'm talking to them, and they use it on a daily basis to improve their tennis. So it's really cool, and I think the social medias are great if it's used to share with people. And as a tennis coach, I feel my job is to share with people, is to help people improve the game, and it's also sharing passion. And the social medias give you this opportunity to connect with fans. And actually, the Web3 gives even a higher opportunity to connect with fans. And I think it's a key thing. I think in sport, in our sports, we have to help fans connect with us.
Right.
And I think it's a key for the future. And I think the Web3 gives this opportunity.
I also believe that people relate and connect very well with you. I mean, I turned 50 this year, and I'm an amateur tennis player. But
come to the club.
But when my wife see that I'm really focused on a video, she knows that I'm watching your video. So that's the level of my commitment. But I think one interesting thing is this one. It's very difficult to find on YouTube a great coach of any sport, by the way, that is willing to share really his knowledge, because usually a great coach is busy, so the amateur is left to amateur coaches that of course are good, because if you are a rubbish player like me, it's still good, but learning from the top is a different thing. And the second thing is that if you only coach incredible players, and in your videos I only see you, with Tsitsipas or cool, but I can't play like that. But the great thing of your videos is that you have a lot of different players, a kid, a celebrity. So I can really relate to say, oh yeah, I can do that. It's not that I have to practice 8 hours a day. So that's, I think, also a cool thing.
It's interesting what you're saying, because a lot of people around me came to me and said, you shouldn't do that on social media. You can't give your tricks to all the coaches. And I said, of course I can. What's the problem? It doesn't take anything away from me, and I'm happy to share. I mean, I think the key is to love sharing things again with people. And I'm completely okay to share everything I'm doing. And if people want to criticize me, I'm okay with that. They're allowed to also. And it's fine. I'm completely relaxed with that. And I agree with you. I think it's important to spend time on the court with all kind of players and all kind of levels, so people feel they can relate. As you said, you are very, very right in that. And this is a comment that I hear very often. I can relate to those people when I see you teaching them on the video. And as I said, a lot of people feel that they know me and I'm their coach. And it's so cool, because I'm in Brazil on the court, and guys, they talk to me like they know me so well. Even kids, hey Pat, how are you? Boom, and they my hand. No, incredible. So that's really cool.
By the way, Brazil, I was watching in my YouTube videos. I was watching the other day tons of videos from Guga Kurten, who has been an amazing player, amazing one-hand backhand, by the way. Tell me about your NFT project, because usually I'm really into the Web3 world, and usually I saw a lot of NFT projects, and they are artistic, blah blah blah. There is no real value, real utility, at least in my opinion. What I really like of the direction that you got is that you go into the utility NFT. So there is an access is a pass to enter in your world, sort of membership like that. How would you describe it?
Yes, you're very right. And actually, when I started this project, I said to the team, guys, we need to create value for the people. It's not about selling stuff. It's about creating real value. So you can't guarantee value, but you can do everything to give the best chances to bring value to people. So if I had to describe it, I would say it's a members club. It's a private club.
Right.
Not private in terms like not anyone can be there, because anyone can be there, of course. It's a club for the fans, the big fans of tennis, who want to be around me, and for us to share tennis moments together and emotions together, because tennis brings so much emotions and experiences. It's a club in which we will bring experiences. So there are a lot that are attached already to the NFTs. For example, you can, if I have this NFT, I can have 1 hour one-on-one with Patrick, or I can come to one of his events, or, so this is real life experiences that are attached directly to those NFTs. But there is all the things that are not attached yet, and that we're going to bring.
Right.
The participation in events, whether it's, for example, tennis events with the future of tennis who will be participating. It can be pro-ams, it can be conferences, tennis conferences with people that they would not have the chance to talk to. And all these things will be hosted at my academy that I want to become the hub for incredible tennis experiences and Web3. And I think what I like in Web3, and of course we're just at the start of it, even though a lot of things are existing, it's already a big market. We're just at the start of it, is that it brings the connection between the fans and the people who are making the tennis, which are mostly the players and a few other guys. It brings a different level of connection, because we can do that now. We can create this club and live together, and wherever you are in the world, we can still be connected. So I think it's something really incredible that we can do thanks to the NFTs now.
What I noticed, Patrick, is that I've launched an NFT some time ago, and what I immediately noticed was this different level of connection with the community. Because if I sell you a subscription, imagine you sell me a subscription, all right, great, I pay my subscription, and then I have access to the academy or whatever. But then I'm a client, and a client, want a service, and then there is this client relationship, which is good and bad. But an NFT is a different way of having a relationship, because they're not my clients, they are partner in my project. They try to follow me, and we see where we go. If I succeed, we all succeed. So there is a different approach. It's something like that people come into the Discord group and say, what can I do to help? And a client, when he's coming to me, otherwise he's coming to say, all right, what will you give me, Monty? Come on, provide the service, And it's a different way of working. So I really, really enjoy this, and I'm sure will be the same for you.
Yes, exactly the same. I agree 100%. It's definitely not the same relationship. We are just together. That's you said it so well. And people want to help. That's 100% true too. I want to create value for those people. I want them to be happy. I want them to live. I want us to live experiences together. And I think bringing together in a collection, because there are only 2,000 NFTs attached to this project, big tennis fans, and also fans of Web3 and enthusiasts about, and bringing those people together, I know that a lot of projects will come out of that. And actually, I have already some that we're working on for after this one, and we will do this together now. All those people together. It's really a team. It's not a relationship. You are right, with a client. It's really a relationship. Like, we are in the same team, and we're building that together for the benefit of everybody.
I love it. Also because I think the way you are moving, at least I'm, let's say an external observer, passionate about tennis and social media. So it's just, like a random opinion. But I really believe that you can bridge the world of tennis with larger mainstream adoption. You can do that because you have, on one side, deep knowledge into tennis, but you're also very good in communicating. You can gather together a lot of different people. So I think that could be, the start of a wider adoption. Sometimes I hear you talking about new rules that you would like, new ways of making tennis more interesting. So I also see, I don't know if this is the long-term view, but I see that direction. I think the coach could do that, and not everyone can do it, because maybe you're very good as a coach, but you're not really good as entrepreneur or communicator or relationship. So I think you probably are on a great side, I think.
Thank you for those compliments. That I take them. I take them.
It's true. It's true.
But it's my intention. You know what? A few years ago, I discovered some data about tennis, and one of these data says that the average age of the fan is 61 years old and gets older every year. And this shows just that we are living on an old fan base that was created in the 70s and the 80s. Actually, I'm one of those. And those fans are very loyal to this sport that is incredible. But tennis doesn't renew its fan base. And this is a major problem. And it's difficult for tennis to change because, you know, the fan base of tennis is very traditional. They hate change. Whenever you want to change a little thing about tennis, they get really angry at you. And I think the role of the ATP and the WTA is first to please their fan base. So that's why I created in 2020 a second league of tennis called UTS with the goal to renew this fan base and to speak to the younger generation. How you speak to the younger generation? First, by using the same tools as them, the technological tools that they use. And same, you have to kind of respond to the criteria of the things they like. Yeah. And tennis doesn't respond to those criteria because it's an old format and they watch new formats. They don't watch movies, they watch series, they play video games, they watch social medias. So you have to be on social medias. And we created at UTS a format that is shorter, faster, more immersive, more dynamic, without downtime, with gamification. This is the tennis that those young people might like, and we are looking for the right format, and we want to do that, you know, close to the ATP. So there is a traditional format for the traditional fans, and there is a new format for the young generation. So that's totally, and I think the NFTs are going to contribute a lot to bringing tennis to the younger generation, because the people who are like excited with the Web3 today, they are not 60 years old. I mean, there are some, but most of them are younger. Yeah. So you kind of, it's a tool to speak to the young generation. And this is definitely what we have to do if we want to bring tennis to the future.
Do you see in your project or like a possible application is what happening, for instance, in music, where if I'm a fan, I can maybe buy an NFT from a musician, and then I can have a percentage of royalties from that kind of music. And so I become a fan, but if I discover you first, and then you become a great musician, wow, I'll have a great also economical return. So I was thinking, if you see in tennis or in other sports, I'm thinking about table tennis. Sometimes I see some, you know, videos of table tennis, still passionate, and I think, oh gosh, this kid, he got it. I would love to buy an NFT, you know, betting on his career, because I think that could be maybe the new, you know, Wagner. By the way, France had the world champion, you know, Jean-Philippe Gatien. He was the world champion. So do you see something like that in tennis or NFT?
So, I mean, a lot of projects are brought to me in tennis, most of them, I think. So there are some projects like that. There are some projects like that, like for celebrities in general. It's kind of an investment in people. So it's definitely an option. I have a project to help the young generation, but I'm going to talk about this in the future, because the people who are going to buy one of the NFTs, the coach, will have the opportunity, of course, to be the first ones for my new project. I didn't think of it this way, but it's definitely one way to see it. It's I more see it in like, again, from a fan point of view, that when you love a young player and you think, wow, he has an incredible potential, it's exciting to be able to show everyone that you were the first one to see it, or one of the first ones to see this potential. And then you get rewarded. But the reward is not necessarily cash.
Financial, yeah.
It can be financial, but because the NFT of this player becomes big, so the value of the NFT becomes big, not necessarily because you get a share of what the player is earning. There are different ways to approach it, but I think this idea that you have, Monty, is really good. And we'll have to talk about it very soon.
Right. I was thinking that if I don't know, spot Rafa at the beginning and I got the NFT of Rafa, even if I didn't have a percentage of his earning, but I mean, just the idea to say, look, we were the first 100 that were supporting Rafa, and every year there is one event only for the 100 NFT. I mean, that would be already only to touch Rafa hand, my forehand already improved like that, So I think it's great. You have a fantastic way of encouraging players when you coach, and that made me realize how bad of a coach I would be, because I immediately focus on the negative. I would immediately say, no, you don't do like that. No, that's wrong, You have a very good way. You use very well the word "and." So you say, all right, this is good, and then you encourage a lot, and you are also viral with your, it's fantastic, great. So there is a great encouraging approach that I really appreciate. I was wondering if you were always like that, if it's something that you built, is a skill that you built, and what's the result that you see, if you change your approach during the years, or you've been always like that?
I think in life, people see what they look at. So if you look at the negative, you will always see the negative. So this glass is half full or half empty, but it's the same level of water. It depends how you see it. I found out very early that I was doing really bad with negative. Like when people would be negative with me, it was hurting me a lot, especially when I was young, because I had no confidence at all. So when you have no confidence and people look at you through your negative, it's really very hurtful. And I made a rule for myself that I will never do to people what I don't want people to do to me. And I would hate people to look at me negatively, which they do sometimes on social media, but it's fine. Now I'm more okay with myself, so I can handle it better. So I always thought that I want to look at what people have that is interesting. And I think I found out also it makes me more happy. If you look at the negative in people, it doesn't make you happy as a person, because you always have negative thoughts all the time. If you look at the positive that are in people, then it makes you so much happier. And then you send love to people, and you receive love when you send love. So it's such a good way to approach life and to approach coaching. So I would say it's a combination of both. I learned that very early because I had this experience of having people looking at me with a negative eye, and I realized the power that you can have on people if you see them, if you bring them positive, and you value them, and you do it sincerely. So I learned to look at that. I learned because I wanted to learn to look at the positive, but it's not easy. I think the society in general teaches you to look at the negative a lot, and if you just look at the social media, then it's quite clear that people only look at the negative most of the time. Most of them. So you are taught like that. So I think it's an effort to change from looking at the negative to looking at the positive. But believe me, when you do that effort, it changes your life. So it's really worth trying.